Hi and welcome to episode 32 of Mind in Bloom TV by Adventures with Flowers with me, Kendall Platt, where I talk about all things mindful gardening and floristry and how they can help you to feel calmer, happier and less overwhelmed. My mission with Adventures with Flowers is to encourage busy women to feel able to give themselves a break more often. Even taking 5 minutes a day can help you to feel calmer and less overwhelmed within a few days. The reason I care so deeply about this is because after overloading myself at work and at home for most of my adult life, I developed anxiety and was on the cusp of burnout. And if I can do anything to prevent you from going through that as well, then I'm going to do it. I feel passionate about changing the societal norm of women doing everything for everyone and putting themselves last on the list, not just for us, but also for our daughters. Undoubtedly, the best way for us to do this is to show them that we take time for ourselves every day to unwind, to grow, and to just put ourselves first for 5 minutes out of the 1,400 odd minutes that there are in a day. A wonderful tool that I have found to help me begin to take small amounts of time for myself every day is to grow and arrange my own cut flowers. And in this series, I hope to be able to share some of the benefits, methods, and reasons for doing so. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you something that I have found to be really useful to go alongside growing and arranging my own cut flowers mindfully, and that is journaling. The reason I found this so useful is because I have used it to document my successes in growing my own flowers and also my failures, and how to process the emotions I feel around these difficult situations that are often mirrored in our life experiences. I'm going to explain how you can start a journaling practice with just 5 minutes a day and why it's so important for you to take these 5 minutes if you want to discover a calmer, happier version of you. So first of all, why journal? Well, there are a few reasons why journaling is so good for you. And the first of that, and probably the most important in my eyes, is that it allows you that sacred 5 or 10 minutes to yourself every day. It allows you 5 or 10 minutes to step off of the hamster wheel and just take stock of the things that you've experienced that day and just be alone with your thoughts. The second reason is to record things that happen to us so that in the future you can look back on them and remember the fun or enjoyment that you had in those situations. Those situations might not always be positive, but by recording them in as much detail as you can, it can help you in the future should you find yourself in that situation again, and it might give you some ideas of how better to navigate it. Do you remember keeping a diary when you were little? I seem to vaguely remember having one with a padlock on. Not entirely sure why anyone would have wanted to access my teenage ramblings. Probably all just about boys and dramas with friends at school, so not particularly interesting. Having said that, it did allow me to record my feelings about those situations that I encountered and that we continue to encounter. But I think as busy women, we sometimes don't allow ourselves to actually sit and process those feelings. So journaling allows you to do that. This can be particularly useful if, like me, you are not a great fan of talking about how you feel. Getting the emotions out of your head and onto the page can help you reduce the feeling of overwhelm, and also to help you realise how the situations that you're in are actually making you feel and allow you to process those emotions. The last way that journaling can help you is it can help you to realise things about yourself, and it can also help you to deal with situations that you may have encountered in the past. and allow you to let go of some of the resentment, perhaps fear, even anxiety that is holding you back from becoming the calm and happy person that's inside of you. So on to the next section. What should you write on or in? Now, of course, we are in the technical era, and there are loads of different journaling apps that you can use. Just go onto Google and it will return a load of different options to you. But I'll be honest, I'm a little bit old school and I prefer a good old pen and a flowery notepad. Not that I'm, obvious at all, but there is something about a pen and paper after a day typing on a keyboard that just signifies relax to me. But ultimately, it's down to you. So the next section is what to write. Now, I will be completely honest, when somebody first suggested journaling to me, I was utterly petrified. At school, I loved the sciences, so I much preferred that kind of factual style of writing to the kind of flowery style of maybe Shakespeare or other authors that we studied. So for 20 years, I told myself, nope, journaling is not for me. But it kept on coming up as a method to handle my anxious thoughts and to process them. So even though I was really scared, I just thought I'm going to give it a go. I wasn't entirely sure what was going to come out, so I was quite scared to kind of let the floodgates open, if you will. So I started with a really simple daily gratitude practice, just writing down 3 things every day that I was grateful for. They weren't always big things. Sometimes it was that lovely feeling of warmth you get on your face when the sun shines. Other days it was, I'd just be looking out, at the window at work, taking 5 minutes away from my computer, and I'd see a little bird hunting for worms in the grass. And then other things, it might just be sitting at my desk and enjoying a hot cup of tea in relative peace and quiet for 5 minutes. So nothing groundbreaking particularly, but what I did do was I tried to notice all throughout my day and kind of almost like make a mental journaling note of them, so that then when in the evening I came to write down my journaling, my daily gratitudes, they were kind of there ready. And I found that this really helped me to kind of boost my mood throughout the day as well. So if I was getting really bogged down and a bit stressed about something, if I just took 5 minutes away and just really noticed something that really piqued my interest and made me grateful, and I kind of made that mental note, it kind of raised my mood. So it really helped me to kind of manage the kind of peaks and troughs that you can get with anxiety. So once I realised I could do this writing thing, I started to really notice things that inspired me. So in the large majority, that was nature, because I love being outside and being in the garden. So it would just be noticing really tiny things about, as plants started to grow, or, the ecosystem and different insects within it. And just really noting down every really tiny detail about that, because it really helped me to focus my mind, but also it really helped me to remember it and relive it when I came back to read those journal entries, maybe a week later. It really took me back to that place, which I found really helpful, especially if I was feeling quite overwhelmed. I could read back in my diary and I could remember that sort of sense of calm that I felt when I was observing that situation, that ladybird on the flower, or whatever it was that I'd sort of made very vivid notes on. So I would suggest starting with daily gratitudes, but as your practice grows, I would really recommend, as you describe situations you find yourself in, really writing down as much detail as you can remember, because that, like I said, really helps to focus your mind back into the present. I have found through journaling that it has been really important for me to be as honest as I can be about my feelings. Now, whilst that is initially quite scary, I find that if I'm not really honest, then I feel like I'm not done. I feel like I've still got that itch that I need to scratch. So in the interest of, not having to redo things, I just really try and dig deep when I am sitting journaling and just get it all out onto the page, no matter how messy it is. I know it can be really scary to feel your feelings, but I found that once you're over that initial panic and you allow your emotions to flow, it really allows your daily interactions to be so much more joyful. You begin to feel more alive and more aware of your own emotions and also those of others around you. This just really helps to read situations much better, and if you're more aware of your own emotions and other people's emotions, then you might not choose that moment to have a bit of a moan about the dishes not being done, which, to be honest, can only lead to a calmer and happier life, can it not? Now, there are some days when I can just about muster enough energy to write my 3 daily gratitudes. And there are other days where I could write 2 A4 pages. I think it's important to not hold yourself to any kind of strict regime. Don't sort of say, I have to write 3 pages today. I think the key is the consistency. So try and do something small every day. And if that means just having to return to your 3 daily gratitudes because you've got a lot going on, then that's absolutely fine. But really try and keep up that 5 minutes daily if you can. Another thing to bear in mind is that you don't have to write. You might prefer to draw how you're feeling. For me personally, I'm not a massive artist. Having said that, I did tell myself I wasn't a journaler either. So maybe I need to give that a bit of a go and push myself out of my comfort zone in that area as well. But you might just like to doodle and just see where your hand goes and what you make on the page. Sometimes it's quite nice to just not be strict with yourself and just see what happens. If you've had a particularly tough day, you can use your journal to explore your feelings around what happened. Sometimes seeing the words on the page can provide amazing clarity and can help you to discover ways in which to resolve the situation that you find yourself in. So the last section that I'm going to quickly talk about is when to journal. Now, this is completely personal preference, but I would say try and link it to something that you already do daily. This will just help you to remember to do it. We're all busy and it's easy to forget. So if you can link it to, for example, while you're waiting for the kettle to boil in the morning, while you make a cup of tea, you could do your daily gratitudes then, or start writing your journaling practice. Or perhaps when you get into bed at night, before you turn out the light, you could do your journaling practice then. I started journaling in the mornings, but that literally lasted about 2 days because I found it really hard to concentrate when my little girl was around. So I just found that I wasn't doing it. So now I journal as soon as I get into bed. I like to read a book before I go to sleep. So I get into bed, I do my journal, and then I read my book, and then the lights go out. So I've really formed, a routine there, and that helps me to stick to it. Plus, as you know, I'm all about taking uninterrupted time for yourself. So if you're trying to do it when there's kids running around and people are interrupting you, it's going to be really hard to stick to. So try and do it when you know you're going to be on your own, and you can just really focus on it. If you do decide to give journaling a go, then I would love for you to go out and buy yourself a notebook that you really, really love. You can get them really cheap. Quite often Sainsbury's have really good sales. And take a photo of it, share it on Instagram and tag me in the photo. I'm at Adventures with Flowers, and keep me updated on how you're getting on, how you're enjoying it. If you have any questions about how you can find more time for yourself and rediscover a calmer and happier version of you through journaling or also through any other of the elements in my Mind in Bloom membership programs. That's mindful gardening, mindful floristry, and also taking inspiration from nature on how we can grow ourselves, then please do send me a message over on Instagram. I love hearing from you, and it would be really lovely to get chatting about how we can find you some more time for yourself. As ever, if you have enjoyed this episode, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, while you were watching, if you had a friend in mind that you think would absolutely love listening and watching this episode, then please do tag them into the post on my Instagram profile. The link to this latest episode will always be in my Instagram bio, so they can find it there. And I will look forward to hearing from them. So I hope you have a really great week. Speak to you soon. Bye.